They say the oldest stories on Earth were not written on paper. They were carved into mountains. And tonight, we're going into the shadows of those mountains to uncover secrets older than civilization itself. Welcome to the sacred caves of the Zagros Mountains, the place where humanity learned to worship, where the first wine was made, and where ancient rituals echoed through stone chambers long before history began. And the strangest part? Most people have never even heard of it. The Zagros Mountains rise like a broken spine across the border of Iran and Iraq, stretching for more than 1,500 kilometers. From the sky, they look like the ribs of a sleeping giant. But hidden inside these ribs are caves, thousands of them, some untouched for tens of thousands of years. Archaeologists call this region the memory vault of early humanity because every cave holds something different. Bones arranged in patterns, clay jars stained with wine, altars carved into stone, and tunnels that twist into darkness like passages to another world. These caves were not simple shelters. They were sanctuaries, ritual sites, burial grounds, places where early humans came to speak to their gods, bury their dead, and understand forces beyond their control. One of the most haunting of these sites is Shanidar Cave, located in Iraqi Kurdistan. At first glance, it looks like any other massive rock opening a wide arch, staring over a valley. But inside, archaeologists discovered something that changed everything we knew about ancient humanity. Carefully arranged burials. Neanderthals, laid to rest with flowers sprinkled over their bodies, pollen from wild plants still detectable thousands of years later. It was the first evidence that early humans mourned their dead. They didn't just survive, they cared, they remembered, they believed. Shanidar wasn't just a cave, it was a sacred space, a place where death was marked with ritual. But this is only the beginning. Across the Zagros Range, deeper inside the mountains, excavations uncovered something shocking. Stone basins carved into cave floors, arranged in perfect arcs. Researchers believe these were early altars, the kind used for offerings, maybe sacrifices. In one chamber, animal bones were stacked in spirals, each skull turned toward the east. In another, ash circles hinted at controlled fire rituals performed in total darkness. These weren't random collections of bones or burned debris. They were deliberate, ceremonial, meaningful. Someone or some group had created a ritual system long before organized religion ever existed, and then came the discovery that pushed Zagros Caves into global fascination: wine. Inside the mountains above the ancient valleys, archaeologists found clay jars, shattered but still stained with tartaric acid, the chemical signature of wine. These jars date back 7,000 years. That makes them the oldest known wine vessels in human history. Picture this: long before Egypt's pyramids, before Mesopotamian kings or Persian emperors, people here were making wine inside caves. Not for parties, for rituals, for ceremonies, for burial offerings. The world's first wineries weren't in cities. They were in mountain caves. But not all Zagros caves tell stories of life. Some tell stories of fear. In one remote site, researchers discovered a pit filled with thousands of animal bones, but not scattered. Arranged, burned, broken in ritualistic ways. Ritual specialists believe it may have been a sacrifice pit, used to call on mountain spirits or appease forces believed to control weather, fertility, or protection. What makes it even stranger, the pit sits in a chamber accessible only by crawling through a narrow crack in the cave wall. Imagine entering a pitch-black tunnel, squeezing your way through a stone throat and emerging into a hidden ritual chamber where fires once burned and bones were stacked like offerings to unseen gods. While some caves were used for rituals, others were more mysterious. High above the valleys, hidden in cliffs, explorers found cave networks carved into the rock, steps chipped into stone, niches for lamps, ventilation shafts, tunnels that extend farther than any prehistoric settlement we know of. These aren't natural formations. They're built structures, created by people with purpose, but no one knows who made them or why. Were they refuges during conflict, monastic retreats, secret religious dwellings for early mountain cults? The cave systems are older than most written languages, so the answers remain buried in silence. But the story of the Zagros Caves is not only about mystery and ritual, it's about the dawn of civilization itself. Nearby valley caves contain remnants of early farming: wheat seeds, barley grains, grinding stones, storage pits for dried food. This is the birthplace of agriculture. Humanity shifted from wandering hunters to settled farmers right here in the shadow of these mountains. These caves were the first storage units, laboratories, and kitchens of human society. They were the starting point of everything that would come later: cities, kingdoms, economies, religions. The people who lived here worshipped the mountains themselves. Before Zoroastrianism, before Islam, before any scripture was written, early Zagros tribes believed mountains were living beings. Caves were their mouths, their wombs, their breathing spaces. Offerings of beads, obsidian blades, animal fat, and fertility figurines were placed at cave entrances to honor these mountain spirits. To enter a cave was to enter the body of a god. To leave offerings was to keep that god satisfied. The tradition lasted thousands of years, and echoes of it still survive in village rituals today. Deep in Iraqi Kurdistan, another enigma waits: the Hana Cave settlement, a cluster of chambers carved high into cliffs. Some archaeologists propose monks carved them. Others think they were hideouts for rebels. But chisel marks and erosion patterns indicate something older, much older. Whoever carved Hana understood the rock intimately and created chambers with complex ventilation, water channels, and high ledges. It was a functioning community built into the mountain, a ghost city with no written record of its purpose. As the sun sets over the Zagros, the mountains cast long shadows that crawl across the valleys like fingers. For thousands of years, people have stood at cave entrances, looking into darkness, wondering what waits inside. And each generation adds its own layers to these ancient spaces: prayers, offerings, burials, graffiti, sacrifices, food, art. The caves of the Zagros are not just geological formations. They are libraries. Libraries without paper. Libraries written in bone, ash, stone, and silence. And here's the truth: these caves hold many more secrets. Secrets untouched, unexcavated, unimagined. Every year, new discoveries hint at civilizations we never knew existed, rituals we never imagined, and beliefs that shaped the entire ancient world. The Zagros Mountains are more than a landscape. They are the Earth's memory. And buried in that memory are the earliest chapters of the human story. If you've enjoyed this journey into the forgotten world, make sure you're subscribed, because the mountains are filled with caves, and the caves are filled with stories. And we've only just opened the first door.